Gave the award has joined us. We'll get Gary on that in just a moment. Jamie Carragher will be speaking to as well very shortly. He called it, Graham, almost perfect, that performance under Herrera. Would you agree?
They were very good. They did a job on the best team in the league to date. Got a large slice of luck with the handball, I felt. And that was a United team that was set out to defend. It wasn't a United team that was set out to dominate the ball and have chance after chance. But fair, all play to them. They nullified Chelsea. I can't think of De Gea making one save. So, they've done a lot right. If you're a United supporter of a certain age, you would want them to be on the front foot a wee bit more, chance after chance, shot after shot. But it was a very, very effective display from Man United today.
But what's the Chelsea reaction, Frank, without a shot on target for the first time in almost a decade?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't there today at all. I mean, as I said, the Chelsea that we know. Credit to Manchester United, they came out of the blocks, and I think they were first every ball. Everything seemed to drop to Manchester United players, and that wasn't luck. That was because they were sharper than the Chelsea players. But the only thing I can say for Chelsea is to just wipe it out of their memory. It's one of those games. They've been fantastic. They've been winning games regularly. This is, like they played Arsenal earlier in the season, and then they kicked on from that with a similar kind of performance. I think today there's no way they can dwell on that now because they've got an important run in, and now it's game on because it's 4 points.
It certainly is, but how easy is that to do when the Crystal Palace game is only a couple of games away as well? Yeah,
I mean, it's tough because losing games brings an element of doubt, and you can see that even in their faces walking off the pitch there. The manager's stinking, you can see that they're all a little bit upset, and it'll be a big week for them now, and it needs characters in the team. And I think they are there, but it needs the big characters in the team to kind of settle the ship, work hard in the week, get ready for their next games, and put in the performances that they have put in all season.
Gary, was this what Manchester United had been waiting for under Mourinho?
Yeah, it was the best, I would imagine, experience for the crowd. I mean, I underplayed it a little bit in the pre-match interview. When you asked me up on the gantry about the team, I'd just walked through from here back through quite a few people that I know, thinking, oh, look at that team he's picked. Thinking, it wasn't going to be a positive day, but that was a brilliant performance. That, I mean, they were all 9 out of 10. Every single one of them played absolutely fantastically. Chelsea didn't turn up. Where was Conte today? The manager. You talk about the players, but the manager's been so active on the touchline all season, and you expected him to get them going, him to be raging up and down that touchline. He didn't he seemed subdued today, didn't look like he lacked belief. And for me, Chelsea didn't turn up, but United, they were fantastic. Yeah, a little bit of luck, I think, on the goal with the handball. I think any team would want that for them if it was, in your favour. But I think that, to me, here it is.
He gave a very staunch defence of it, though, didn't he, Ander Herrera? He
did, and I get the point. It's not a deliberate handball, but I think that if you're a United player and it goes the other way, you would want it for you. And I think ultimately you sometimes get them in the season, but take nothing away from United. It did change it. I mean, Rashford had already got in behind that Chelsea back three twice at that point. That was about 7 or 8 minutes in, I think, this goal. But he'd already got in behind them. And many teams this season have tried to expose that Chelsea back three and not been able to do it. United did it today. They really did. It was almost like the perfect performance. And like I say, the best I've seen United. And you know what, as a United fan, it wasn't half good to see two players move up front and be mobile and work together and look like they want to play together. For 3-4 years, I've been watching Manchester United play. Even going back to Robin van Persie, wasn't that type of player that was mobile. To see players move and actually link with each other and look like they want to play with each other, it's probably the best I've seen a front pair play for United for a long time.
Let's take the handball again, because it will be a big talking point and contentious, I'm sure, in the Chelsea dressing room. Would you be aggrieved if that one had gone against you,
Listen,
Graham?
it's one of them. During the season, you've got to believe that things like this will go against you and things will go for you. I think it's the handball simply because his arm was so far out away from his body.
But could he have got his hand out of the way?
I don't think so. So close to him. I mean, listen, as I said, you take it. You have to take it when it goes against you. Take it when it goes for you. But I mean, when you look at this, he's tried to flick it. He's got his arm in the way. It drops nicely for him. Let's look at the positives here, because Rashford's first and second touch are absolutely fantastic. Nigh on perfect. The third one, he actually chops it into the ground a bit, but his first and second touch was just sublime.
And he's beating there not Thibaut Courtois, but Asmir Begovic. That was one of the big talking points before the game. The other was the late loss of Marcos Alonso, which he felt might have unbalanced them. On reflection, were those changes more damaging than perhaps we suspected they might be?
Yes, definitely, particularly Alonso. I think the goalkeeper, we can maybe debate Begovic there. He's come out quite rash and made the finish bit more comfortable for him than maybe he would have done. But I think definitely the balance of the team. In the end, the manager's had to make 2 changes. He's had to put Azpilicueta over as a left wing back, and he's had to bring Zuma in. So you could see the balance. And, you know, some days you get the feeling, yesterday we just hear about an injury, or today you hear about an injury before the game to Courtois, and now all of a sudden you hear the left-back last minute. You get that feeling, is it one of those days? And it turned out from start to finish, it was one of those days for Chelsea.
When it's a late one like that, are you just trying to minimise the damage to your team and your preparation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it did imbalance them because of the left foot of Alonso. There's no doubt about that. A little bit worrying that it does, though. 1 injury to your outfield player. That was the perfect Chelsea team, apart from 1 player. United probably had 6 or 7 players missing. Liverpool played earlier on today without Lallana, Henderson, Mane. So every team misses players.
Yeah.
So to think that 1 player missing would have that level of disturbance, I thought Begovic should have done better for the goal. The first goal, the Rashford one, he falls away too much. He comes out, his angle's wrong. Courtois is a wonderful goalkeeper. But it'd be disturbing moving forward. It's a glimpse for next season in terms of Chelsea about if they're going to drop so far with 1 or 2 injuries. They do need to strengthen that squad, but a lot still to play for this season. They can put that down today to a bad day, because it was a bad day.
It was a bad second goal as well. Talk us through it, Graham. In particular, Chelsea's back line, which has been so well drilled all year. They seem to have, I think we call it a lack of concentration in commentary.
Yeah, again, I think Pogba here does well. Sees the picture. Now this is good play. When the ball goes in first, watch
from here.
Watch Cahill. Watch Cahill in the middle of the pitch. He's picking. Is it Lingard up?
Yeah.
I mean, he should be out. Empty it and shout to everyone around you. Let's get out. You know, get out. Play him offside. Instead, he's been Mr. Nice Guy, and that possibly has cost you the goal, because if you're further out, the goalkeeper might get a better look at it, and instead of being on his backside when it goes over into the net, he might be able to stand up that little bit longer and make it.
Over courteous, do you think, Frank?
Yeah, too nice. It's not his responsibility. Run out and get out. I think the problem generally there for Chelsea is that sometimes, and I did it as a player, you're defending a corner, you're defending a wide free kick as it started, you have a mindset of getting back in the box and clearing it. And the important thing is when there's a second part of play and there's a third part of play, you need to all of a sudden clear the box and get out of it. You can't keep edging back. You let their players stay in there. You definitely don't pick them up and help them out. But then deflections can happen because there's too many bodies around, and the goal comes. And
Herrera delighted because he managed to get his first goal of the season, as you saw in his interview. But we spoke before the game about the role that he might have trying to snuff out the threat of Eden Hazard today. Well, Jamie Carragher was watching on, as you know, and did he come out on top, Jamie?
Of course, man of the match. Gary gave him that, and we spoke before the game. Would Man United use the tactics that they used in the FA Cup game? You're thinking they're at home, do they need to be on the front foot? But typical Jose, and end up being that man mark and roll. And we look at it now, and these are the 2 players involved, Hazard and Herrera. But I mentioned in commentary there was also a job done by Darmian on Pedro on the far side. Now, a question asked early on in commentary with Gary was, if Eden Hazard changes position from this inside left, what would Herrera do? Now, we can see from this clip perfectly. So Herrera's gone from right back. Now, if we just stop it there, Herrera now is in central midfield alongside Hazard. So he's gone behind the front players. Hazard, he still followed him there. And again, I mentioned Pedro was more of a winger, doesn't move as much, Darmian around, but it's still that man-marking job going on. And we're just running in now, and a lot more movement. Hazard's gone deeper again. And we can see the position now, he drags Herrera into. As Luis steps in, he's made a run in behind him. And if we just freeze it now, so he's gone right back, holding midfield. Now he's one of the centre-backs. Not much movement from Pedro. Darmian's alongside him also. And another question we asked was, what if they swapped? What if Hazard went over to the other side of the pitch? Well, he has done. He's followed them there. Look at the distance now between Darmian and Herrera. And we're just running on. So see, Darmian's with Pedro. And there, where does he give the free kick away? Just take it back a touch. Herrera gives the free kick away there. So he's now gone from right back, holding midfield, centre back, now to left back. And I think that just summed up the man marking job. So long since I've seen a man marking job like that. It's not something we associate. But the way United set up, I think this illustrates it perfectly. If you actually look at the centre circle, you've got a 4v3. So you've got Darmian with Pedro, Carragher with Hazard, and the one spare man for United was one of the centre-backs against Costa. So we've seen the man marking job from the semi-full-back, shall we say. But then you see the role of everyone else. It was virtually man-to-man all over the pitch. Exactly the same as the FA Cup. Valencia v the wing-back. Fellaini up against Matic, central midfield. Pogba, because we know he's not great defensively, just press what's in front up against Kante. Young against Moses, and then it left Manchester United's front two against Chelsea's back three. So each side had a spare man at the back. But that was obviously reminiscent of the FA Cup tie. He couldn't quite do the job there. But tonight, how many times we've said it on the over the years with Jose Mourinho. Mourinho masterclass tactically. He's found a way to stop Chelsea. And just now going forward, if you throw it back to the lads, with 5 or 6 games left at Chelsea, will anyone else adopt these tactics?
Gary, what do you think?
He's told the story well. I mean, exactly what happened in the game. He did it at Stamford Bridge. He couldn't follow the plan through because of what happened with Herrera's sending off. The interesting thing there for me is Hazard. And, you know, Frank will know him better than I do in terms of, like, I would put him in that sort of top 10 players in the world, Hazard. I really think he would get to that sort of, not to Messi and Ronaldo level, but you're pushing that Bale level, that sort of player where you're thinking can change any game. And the amount of times that you'll have seen Messi or Ronaldo try to be dealt with during matches over the years in different ways, man-marked, goal to left, they always find a way. He showed a lack of maturity in that game today, Hazard, I felt, in terms of just not understanding how to cause maximum damage and help his team most by being man-marked. And I know less so with Pedro, it was more obvious on that side. But to me, I don't know what you thought of Hazard today. He disappointed me.
If I'm on that pitch today, I'm going to say to Hazard, I'm going to give you the ball, even when Herrera's right with you. I think he's the most fouled player in the Premier League, Hazard. So what you're looking to do, you're looking to create a situation where Herrera cannot go near him anymore. And even when he's being marked and it's tight, I'd still be there you are, and let him be fouled. And then all of a sudden, Herrera has either have to change the man marker or he can no longer go near him. I thought he was so naive today.
Yeah.
So naive.
I think his starting position, you kept saying it in the game, and he was so central. Jamie said it there as well. He needed to take him to places he didn't want to go. He needed to vacate the area. While Herrera was in midfield with him, it was another body in there. There were 2 bodies, and it was all too close. Go out on the left wing, go and stand next to Costa. See what he does, give him different problems.
Jamie's asked the question, will everyone else try and do that now? But I'm guessing easier said than done.
Easier said than done. You have to
have the right player.
Well, you do, and you have to commend the discipline to follow that through. Herrera's played in 5 positions there in a minute clip, you know, and he did it all day. Throughout the team, you have to do that, and it's not easy because Chelsea were off it today, and another day they might be on it, and Hazard might slip him early on in the game, and the whole aspect of the game changes. So I don't think it's that clinical, but other teams will definitely try and learn something from that.
I think I called it a Mourinho masterclass at Anfield that night. I think I was over-egging it then, but it's pretty spot on today. Let's hear from him with Jeff Shreves. Team, perhaps this was the best Manchester United team today. And you saw what it meant to him, walking off the Old Trafford pitch today, pointing to his badge, to the delight of the Old Trafford faithful. Is this now the template for Manchester United, Graham?
What, to work hard and no, I don't think it is. You know, you're going to man-mark someone every time you go out and play. I think they were very, very good today. And I think it's Jose's first year in the job. He'll have already made his mind up on what players he fancies going forward, who he doesn't fancy. And I think this is a one-off. We know he does that in games. He can park the bus when he wants to, as he did at Liverpool earlier this year. But today they were fabulous. He got his tactics spot on, enjoyed a wee bit of luck. But I don't see that as a template for... Man United have to dominate the ball here. They have to be on the front foot. Do you agree? They have to get everyone in the seat on the edge of their... Everyone in the stadium on the edge of their seat, like they have done for the best part of 20 years. I don't think they could go playing like that every week. You know, they will be playing lesser teams who will sit in and not try and open out against them. And I think they should enjoy their day. They were fabulous today, thoroughly deserved their win, but enjoyed a wee bit of luck.
What about Graham's first point? The dynamism, the intensity that they showed today. Is that got to be a given for Manchester United?
Yes, should be for every team. Jose Mourinho team, I know him. I know that's what he wants as the basics. I think he alluded to it there at the start of his interview. He wanted to wait till after the game to tell us, to be honest, but I think it suited him to play Rashford up front. It suited him to try and hurt. Chelsea's back three have dealt with everything in front of them all season, in front of them and from wide, but runners behind them would be the problem. So the problem maybe for Manchester United now is when Ibrahimovic is fit or he's available to play Thursday or next weekend, you have to play him because he's been their best player all
Could you
year.
not play him and Rashford?
I think you can. But it's just because he's become such a focal point of the team, and you hit him to feet, and then people move off of him. But where today it was more fluent, the movement was constant. It was constant. You won't get that. But maybe the mix will work too. But I think it's a small issue, but it's a good one because it's one they didn't have before today.
If it's not the template, have we seen perhaps a glimpse of the future without Zlatan?
Yeah, I think the front two to me was the whole team played well, the back two played well, but to me to see those two up front today, I didn't think before the game they would harm and damage Chelsea's back three as much as that. But the mobility, the energy, they rushed them from the first minute. They never let them settle. They looked like they linked together. Pogba a little bit as well in terms of just with it, a little bit of the future in terms of those three. A little bit. I agree with Graham, it's not a template of how you would play every single week, but certainly I would think it would give them big confidence because they did need that Manchester United. It's been poor here this season at times where they've dominated games against lesser teams and haven't taken chances. Today, it felt like they all really, the intensity, the mobility was there. It felt like a real performance and unusual tactics. You know, Jose Mourinho doesn't know. You know, how many times does he man-mark players? Makelele, I can't remember ever man-marking somebody. Maybe he did. Maybe you'll tell me he did.
Did you, Frank?
No, we didn't. We were marking zones and we know our areas, but this was different. That was complete. Stick with your man.
Hard to believe watching that today. They've had 9 draws here at Old Trafford this season, but they were excellent today to see off Chelsea. Is it a bump in the road for them or something more serious? Well beaten here without a shot on target, but they still have that 4-point advantage. His reaction next. Interesting, Frank, to observe his reaction to this defeat now.
Yeah, I mean, we were observing it there. You know, he's not happy. And I think from the outside, I think he needs to take a deep breath. I think they all do, because if you'd offered 4 points clear with 6 games to go to Chelsea at the beginning of the season or any part of it, they probably would have taken it. And they're still in that position. I think it's one bad day. Take a deep breath tonight, work hard through the week and get back to the basics of what's got them there, which is as a team working together, defending together as a team and getting the best out of his top players that win games.
You wouldn't have taken it in March, though, when Chelsea were 10 clear.
No, but this is the Premier League, so if you know, we all dream of having 10-point leads all the way up and win the trophy and walk around and it's all nice. I think the reality is, with a team playing as well as Tottenham are at the moment, and they've put together a great run of wins, you can't expect to be plain sailing all through the season. So I think 4 points, they should be relatively happy.
I think what normally happens to big teams, which we've both been part of, you get beat once when you're, you know, that final run, and that is the punch on the nose you need to then go again. Now, Chelsea have had 2 in 3 weeks now with Crystal Palace and today. Slightly concerning. I don't believe that any player that plays for Chelsea can turn up at this football ground and not be fully motivated. He's blaming himself for that. But I just can't see that. I mean, you're from driving past that Fergie stand to, you know, when you come out of the tunnel, if you can't get turned on by playing here, you're not fully motivated, then you don't deserve to be playing in the big time. I mean, I think they had a bad day today, but I still find something to win the league. But concerned, if I was a Chelsea supporter, it concerned me they've now had 2 bad days in the space of 3 weeks. Normally it's one. We've all been there. You got someone puts a marker down. You're not at it for whatever reason, and that happens once. And after that, it doesn't happen again until you're over the line. That's happened twice in 3 weeks now.
I mean, he was subdued in his interview after the game. I think you can accept that because his team just haven't performed today. They were really poor. I was more worried about him being subdued during the game because he's been so active on the touchline all season. It'd be almost like seeing Jurgen Klopp just stood there. He spent most of his first half doing this, Conte, today. And that was the worrying thing for me, that he didn't turn up himself. His character, his personality, his demeanour that he's seen all season, that everyone's enjoyed and loved, you know, hugging fans, running down the touchline, shouting at players to get to the ball, hurry after the ball. That didn't turn up today, so he didn't turn up during the match. After the game, I dismissed somewhat the words, because I think obviously, you know, he's
on the motivation point.
Yeah, because I think he's using words that he's learned and he's doing brilliantly with the language, to be honest with you. I think so he's repeating words that maybe aren't in context of what he would use if he was using his first language. So I dismissed somewhat the use of the words that he's chosen at times in terms of that interview, and he repeated them. So that's going to happen. You know, he's not perfect English, but I think during the game he was subdued, and I don't know why that was. From very early on, he wasn't appealing. I
think maybe he was thrown by the Alonso thing, because I'm not sure if he believed in the change he had to make. I don't think there were too many options for him, and to move Azpilicueta, and you saw it quite early. And then all of a sudden, he changed Moses over straight away. I don't think he was at ease with his team, and he's been at ease. You know, they've had it very comfortable, but kept pretty much the same team. team. But maybe he was a little bit, and then you go 1-0 down at Manchester United, they're on the front foot, and never really recovered, him and Chelsea as a team.
The games are running out. The gap is down to 4